you go bankrupt. And there's a penalty for bankruptcy. Your credit sucks. You're very difficult to get a loan. Very, very difficult for people to trust you again. You have to earn that trust back. And even then, it's always going to be a stain in your record.
Absolutely, he needs money.
You think he's going
Once
broke?
again, come on. Fighters like that always go broke.
Yeah, he's stupid. He's an idiot. He loves the fame and he loves the money. So ultimately, if you're just that money hungry and that fame hungry, you're gonna just do whatever. You don't care what it is.
Joe Rogan strongly criticized Jake Paul, saying that the lawsuits and fixed fight accusations have permanently damaged his boxing reputation. Critics now believe Jake's record looks flashy on paper, but lacks real substance. They argue it was built on hype and carefully chosen opponents rather than true competition. Even if the legal cases disappear, the damage to public perception will remain. In combat sports, credibility means everything. Once fans start doubting authenticity, wins lose their value, and records stop feeling like real legacies.
Because there's a price that you pay that is not worth.
The accusations of fake fights gained momentum after the Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua bout. Fans pointed to several moments they found strange during the event. Many questioned how Jake managed to last longer against Joshua than Francis Ngannou did, despite the huge gap in experience and power. What was promoted as a massive crossover fight quickly turned into a source of controversy, with lead training clips, unusual betting activity, and commentators suggesting the event felt more like entertainment than real boxing. Many analysts described the matchup as unrealistic from the start.
Away from Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. What have we got here?
As I look at it, for the fans, it put boxing still on the map because it keeps boxing relevant. Having exhibition fights like this, different celebrities and different things like that. I look at it as a fun thing for fans and stuff like that. I don't really take it seriously, because, we in the business of boxing. That right there is just, exhibition stuff. But I'm hearing they say it's a real fight, but yeah, it's a real fight because both guys are getting in a fight. I'm still the one that be thinking certain things are scripted as well, too. So, but we'll see, I always say may the best man win, and main thing about it, may those guys go in there and have a hell.
A YouTuber turned boxer with a 12-1 record facing a former-to-time heavyweight world champion raised serious concerns. Joshua has spent years fighting elite-level opponents, while Paul is still developing as a boxer. Because of this gap, many critics labeled the fight lopsided and viewed Jake as a money opponent rather than a legitimate challenge. This only strengthened the belief that the event was more spectacle than sport. Simon Jordan added more fuel to the fire by claiming that Anthony Joshua,
Jake Paul, fake Paul I call him, against Anthony Joshua, massive unit, two-time world champ, still got a big punch. I think he's mentally fragile at world level if he goes against the big guns because of the knockout, especially the bar knockout when he got fucking splattered. You know what I mean? In round 5, and he got hurt early on and then got done. And he's not been in the ring for 13 months.
Yeah.
But can you see a world in which Jake Paul is competitive in this fight?
No.
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 How do you see the fight going if AJ takes it serious?
could have knocked out Jake Paul at almost any moment, but chose not to. According to Jordan, the fight was stretched out to meet Netflix's entertainment expectations rather than boxing standards. He suggested that Joshua's power, timing, and experience were far beyond Paul's level, and a quick knockout would have ruined the show. While Jordan offered no direct proof, his comments reflected what many fans already believe: when big money and streaming platforms are involved, entertainment can quietly take priority over real competition. After the fight, Ryan Garcia shared a blunt reaction on social media that caught widespread attention. While he respected Jake Paul's effort, Garcia said that Gervonta Davis would have done far worse damage to Paul.
Paul posted on Twitter after the fight, "Jaw broken, heart and balls intact." That's a good thing. Time to rest, recover, and return to cruiserweight. I mean, he's coming out of it as if, well, yeah, I got battered in the end, but boy.
That's what he will do. I mean, it depends what you think this was. I mean, I never felt it was anything other than entertainment. I'm not surprised that Anthony Joshua could have knocked Jake Paul out anytime he wanted to. He didn't want to.
So why didn't he?
Because, well, when you're on a platform like Netflix that turns one-part episodes into a 6-part series, why would you think that part of their entertainment model is to have a 30-second fight? Why? Because you watch a Netflix series, you can watch it and you can go, well, I get the gist of it. Why have you got to turn it into 10 episodes? Because I'm dying with boredom after episode.
Are you telling me that Netflix probably emphasized, listen guys, take this as long as you can?
Anthony Joshua didn't step irrespective, I sat to all these guys, whether it be Spencer or Paul Smith, talking about the fact that Jake Paul couldn't run, didn't have the footwork to be able to.
Many boxing experts agreed with this view, arguing that the matchup was not elite boxing. Even after the event ended, criticism continued, with many observers stating that the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight should never have been made. Oscar de la Hoya also weighed in by claiming that Jake Paul's previous fight against Mike Tyson was fixed. He suggested that Paul paid Tyson to secure a win and pointed out that Tyson appeared to hold back during the bout. According to de la Hoya, this was not a one-time situation, but part of a larger pattern in Paul's boxing career. Although Mike Tyson denied that the fight was scripted.
Fair play to Jake Paul. He has a lot of guts, and the fact that he wasn't carried out of this fight on a stretcher, you know, certainly I guess you can say is a positive. But what did I think about this? What did I think about Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul? Look, it felt like Anthony Joshua carried him. It felt like Jake Paul brought in as much of a negative anti-style as possible, circling away, constantly holding Joshua, constantly falling to the ground. Again, while you're certainly going to give respect for the YouTube star turned fighter for having the guts to put on this type of show and to stand in there for as long as he did until a clean right hand in the corner when Paul was absolutely exhausted, dropped him and ended the fight. This is not elite boxing, and we knew that coming in, but if these fights are going to be sanctioned as official fights, like the Mike Tyson fight from last year,
Many fans were left disappointed by his performance. For a fighter of Tyson's reputation, the lack of aggression and intensity was noticeable. This led many viewers to question whether the fight should even be considered a legitimate part of Tyson's record. Critics also highlighted unusual rules during the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight that appeared to favor Paul.
This fight was. I do believe it was scripted. And I believe that Tyson was certainly held back. Look, I'm a fighter and I can see it. It goes on the record and it was sanctioned. So Jake Paul paid to get the W on his record? Bruh. For what? For your own personal satisfaction? Bruh. I keep telling you, if you want to be a real fighter, like you say you want to be, what are you doing?
1. Reported clause allegedly punished Tyson financially if he knocked Paul out early. This raised serious concerns about whether contractual conditions influenced the fight. More than genuine competition, David Hay offered another perspective.
Some news about how he spoke to one of the Paul brothers and that they had an agreement that no one was supposed to get severely injured and that the fight had to last at least through the 6th round. As I was watching the fight, I'm like, damn, it looked like Mike came out a little hot, and I saw him do this one thing where he kept biting his gloves. I know there was a big age discrepancy here, right? Jake Paul being 27, Mike Tyson being 58, of course. But I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, is he biting onto his glove to hold back? Because it looked like he had something there. Even some of the jabs Mike threw, I'm like, he stopped his punch. I'm not trying to be conspiracy theorist here, but thinking to myself, I'm like, I don't know if Mike completely exerted himself or he just got really tired.
I don't know about it being rigged or not, but I do feel bad for people who really are invested in the sport.
You wanna know why I also think it might be a bit rigged? When the fight ended, Jake Paul kept calling out other fighters and he kept referencing, you guys need me, you guys need me. And I'm realizing he's meaning his money. So if boxers and people in the industry know that, hey, if we go get with Jake Paul, we'll make...
He knocked Nate Robinson
knocked him
dead.
the fuck out,
And
yeah.
it's the way he did it that I was trying to tell people. I'm like, no. That was skillful. So like there's like boxing matches where you see two guys just slugging it out. One guy lands a punch and yeah, he landed a good punch. What Jake did is he slid back and landed a punch.
Yeah.
It's like the athleticism along with the intelligence, the technique. I'm like, he's not even doing it that long. And he's also hyper competitive, even though he's wealthy.
Yeah.
You know, like you would assume that wealth would take away your drive for
But
competition.
it hasn't, yeah.
He's also nuts, right? Just the fact that he's willing to fight the 2-time heavyweight champion, former Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah.
A guy who's gigantic in his prime, built like a Greek god.
Yeah.
And you're gonna stand, and he's a one-punch killer. And you're gonna stand in front of that guy, and he avoided shots till the 6th round. He just started getting tired.
Yeah, his movement in that fight was crazy.
It was very good.
Yeah,
it was very good.
He was really keeping him moving around the whole ring, and then
you can't afford to get tired.
You can't get
That's
tired.
the thing is like he gets tired in a lot of his fights in the later rounds. You should really sort that out, because if he had a much bigger gas tank, like if he was training with like some of these elite world-class strength and conditioning coaches and just worked on his cardio, he'd be beating way more guys.
You think so?
Yeah, 100%.
According to Hay, this reality presents a major problem for Paul, as he is now facing a legitimate world-class boxer who will not compromise for money or publicity.